Welcome to episode 269 of Real Therapy, the place where we talk about how movies make us feel. I'm your host, Donovan Thompson, with my co-host,
Daniel Wingfield.
And today we're talking about Season 4 of Amazon Prime's Invincible. This is Real Therapy, and you know what that means.
They're gonna talk about how it makes them feel. They're gonna watch all the movie reels, cause it's Dan and Don in Real Therapy. It's real.
Hey man, we're back. We did it.
We're back. yeah, we're back, and we have something fun to talk about. It's good to be back.
We do. And you know what? I didn't even realize, this is off topic, but Daredevil come out this week too.
Yep, we've watched the first episode. Yep.
Yeah, me too. And so we're starting to get into that place again where there are things to talk about.
Yes.
And hopefully that means we'll be back talking more to our listeners. But yeah, I'm excited to talk about Invincible Season 4, the first 3 episodes at the time of this recording, and just kind of get your overall thoughts on it. So I'll let you go first. Tell me so far what your impressions were. So you were texting me, I believe, how good this season was, and your opinion could have changed as you got further in, but what's your thoughts so far?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's like night and day versus any other seasons, but I do feel like this season, in past seasons, I felt maybe some frustration in terms of just how quickly the plot was moving or how much time we were spending in a certain episode with this or that. And I feel like this season just immediately got into the meat of the arcs and what these characters are going through, and we didn't need like 2 episodes setting them all up and then have them go through it. So I just felt like it did a good job of just picking right up with the story and just moving with it. So like in the first 3 episodes, I feel like there's just been already so much that has happened, more so than in the first 3 episodes of previous seasons, where I'm just like, there's already so many moving pieces in a fun way, like in the way that Invincible does. And yeah, the animation's been great. I think Mark's arc this season about like, is he turning into his father or has he already? I think that is a nice, place for his character to go and grow and learn. And yeah, I mean, we did get the episode with Nolan, right? We got like a full episode with him. I still continue to enjoy what they're doing with his character, just because he's becoming more and more complex. They revealed the whole thing about like they chose humans because of like they were going to come over there and like integrate the what are they called, Viltrumites with the humans. Like there's just, they keep adding, like revealing more layers of who he was and why he did it and why the society is the way it is. I loved all the thing with like revealing like the old leader, like getting some of the lore of the Viltrumites and the plague, and like there's just so much fun lore, world building stuff with really with characters that keep getting more complex. You know what I mean? And I just think that is just, like that's my steak and asparagus, and like that's what I want to eat every night if I can. You know what I mean? Like that's what I want when I sit down and watch stories. And so it's just delivering exactly what I'm wanting and doing it really well. And so yeah, I just think it feels more consistent than previous, maybe since season 1 in some ways.
Yeah, I largely agree with you. I just kind of blanket statement is that it's Invincible. Yeah. Even at its lowest, it was still higher than most, higher than almost. And I'm still really enjoying it. It's just a nice, I get to sit down and watch Invincible. It's like I have something to look forward to, and I enjoy the world. I enjoy the characters, and I'm going to talk more about the Viltrumite Omni-Man episode here in a second, which may be the standout for me so far. For this season, these first 3 episodes. So I think my only issue is I feel like, and maybe we need to talk about what season 3 was. I feel like, this is the natural progression of, is like Mark, is he going to become his father? Or like you said, or has he already become his father in some ways? I remember making that same statement or that same question to you back in season 2. When we had this podcast then. So it feels like a little bit like, what's interesting about this show is that it is following the comic books. And the way comic books work is that one issue comes out a month typically, and then you have 12 issues a year, maybe an annual to go with that. And by the time a year or two passes and you've had characters, you've had arcs, some of those characters and arcs will come back. So a showrunner or a comic book artist would be lucky to have 3 to 5 years on a comic book. And in that 3 to 5 years, you would have a couple reoccurring villains, a couple reoccurring characters, some similar story arcs. And that feels better because there's such a big gap in between these issues, right? And I think one of my issues with, on top of, I feel like we're kind of getting, I understand, it does feel like the next step for Mark. It just feels like we're kind of still leaning into this big, it feels like we're just kind of a little bit more of the same for me. But my issue with it really is, so far in these first 3 episodes, besides the Omni-Man one, we've dealt with 2 villains that we did last season. And it was towards the back. It was maybe the first half of season 3 and the back half of season 3. And I'm like,
the aliens were season 1.
Those were season 1. Was that with Omni-Man coming through and
he's the one that killed them all in season 1? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, maybe I'm wrong. It just feels like, I mean, I guess I'm just remembering.
What was the other recurring villain?
It was the dragon.
And
that guy, you know. And I think, and so I guess my point is, it just feels like we're just going back to the well of previous storylines. And I understand that that character came back for the sole purpose of these character arcs of Mark killing that innocent guy and those kind of things. But I think I would just prefer to have new villains introduced at this stage, because it's season 4. And also, and even then, with season 1, with that, if it even back so far season 1, it feels like, well, we kind of already did that, you know, like, and I already saw these creatures, and we already talked about how they're so similar to the face huggers, and then it was, are those guys different than the, no, so then we also deal with the aliens that could, like, the time dilation.
Yeah, that was season 1.
Yeah, so it's another thing that we've already dipped back into the well for. Which is a very common thing for comics to do that, you know, especially when you have a character. Invincible is the exception, but when you have a character like Spider-Man, where there's really only so many core villains and you're just getting a rinse-wash thing, and every now and then a new villain would be introduced, but they would never catch on, so they'd go back to Green Goblin or Scorpion or something like that for Spider-Man. So that's my only, like, I'm just kind of feeling like, oh, I wish I got something a little bit newer in that area. But what I am enjoying, which I think was a complaint maybe for season 2 or season 3, I think 3, was that Omni-Man episode, when we did get that mythology of the Viltrumites, when we did get more of him, and then even how he's interacting and making and atoning for the things that he did, right? And I like all of that. And even the guy who's leading the resistance, who is the first Viltrumite, who apparently was the quote-unquote traitor.
Yeah.
Like, getting that, and I don't remember, I think this is the first time we've ever gotten that information about the disease and killing all these. Like, to me, that's such a huge monumental episode for the entire show so far. And I love that kind of stuff. So I'm really enjoying the show. I was going to ask you, how do you feel about more about Mark's arc? Because it seems like also there's Cecil involved, and Cecil's kind of playing that game where he's, I need your help, but this isn't going to be like it was before.
Yeah.
But it's the end of the world, and you said if I needed you. So there's that relationship. Obviously, him with it's not Starfire. I can't think of her name.
Yeah.
His girlfriend.
Not Alison Brie. It's Britta.
Yeah. And so, how do you feel
Britta's
about her arc? How do you feel about her arc? Her arc as well, in terms of she's lost her powers after that big battle with what's his face, Jeffrey Dean Morgan's character.
Did they reveal the other thing going on with her in those first 3?
The last thing I saw was obviously her powers are melting. There maybe, I mean, you've seen episode 4 though.
I know. I can't remember what happened in episode 4 versus episode 4 was like a complete 90% of the episode occurred in a place we've never seen before with characters. Only one of them we've seen before. So I do want to say episode 4 does address some of your immediate needs of getting new characters and new villains. and going to a place we've never been before.
Donovan's just wrong today. Let's just start.
No,
with
no,
that.
I think
that'll be the title of our thumbnail. No, I'm just kidding.
I think you're. I recognize you're right. There is a little bit of repetition within that arc. I do see some nuance, and for me, how I see that is we were dealing with kind of in season 2, season 3 of Mark worried, am I destined to turn into my dad? Is that who I'm going to be? Season 3 was kind of like everyone around him worried he is turning into it, and him being like, no, I'm not, and everyone is like trying to control him because they're all seeing worrying signs, right?
And that was capped off with all the alternate versions of Mark,
yes,
basically confirming everyone's fears, or
this is what he could turn into, right? And
which people can't like, distinguish that from this, once you see that, you can't unsee it.
Yeah. And then this season is Mark afraid it's already too late. I've already gone. And I think when you look at the trauma, like the Angstrom Levy stuff from season 2 and season 3, and the stuff that happened with his mom and then his brother, it's like this guy went through the ringer, and he is like struggling. Like he's struggling to believe that he is even as good as he wanted to be or who he thought. Like, and I think episode 4 does a lot with that I think will help you maybe feel like it's not quite as repetitious. There's some fun moments in episode 4 that was like, oh, this is like, yeah. Anyway, I don't want to ruin anything, but all I'd say is like I hear you, and I see that. I think for me, they've done a good enough job with the fight scenes, with the action, with we're seeing villains we've seen before, but they're like the bloody action combat stuff is always going to be like entertaining to me. So if you can fill in the gaps with that stuff, even if it's a little repetitious, maybe I don't notice it as much. But you're right, it's there.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think the thing that gives me hope, and again, I have felt like I'm enjoying this season, the start of this season, more than season 3, even though my comments, it's just that I'm hoping that they don't keep going to the well, and I'm optimistic because of that Omni-Man episode, because obviously it ended with I'm gotta go to my son.
Yes,
and that's the thing that we've been waiting for since the end of season 1, and because season 1 is in a lot of ways, to me, like it was the most complete. Right, because it felt like we had that son father thing, and then it went to where it went, and then we've been kind of just waiting on seeing both their journeys, Omni-Man's much less than Mark's, and just waiting to get back to this place.
Yeah,
and so I'm really hoping that when Omni-Man comes back, then my fear is that it's going to be like, hopefully it doesn't take him 8 episodes to fly to Earth.
No. Well, I'm going to say, after watching episode 4, episode 5 seems like it will be that episode.
Okay, cool.
So they're getting right to it.
Which will be interesting, because it's like Mark is feeling this way about himself.
Exactly.
And then how will Omni-Man...
Yeah.
What will Mark do? Will Mark just immediately start trying to fight him?
Well, they've already seen each other once, right? Because, I mean, he got his little brother. So they had that interaction where he, like, found his...
That's right.
So I do feel like they're walking... I think, like, the final season...
Did they talk?
Yeah. Yeah, like, they had, like... I mean, he tried to fight him for... there was, like, that whole thing where he, like... He still hated his dad for what he's done, but he also saw... like the parts of his dad that he remembered that were good, and like it was.
I need to go back and watch this scene. I know you're right.
No, I think, and so that was more like his dad was like, "Come here and rescue this child that is a victim that doesn't deserve to die. He's innocent.
Oh yeah,
I'm not asking you to fight with me. I'm not asking you to be on my team."
He physically went to that planet to get the kid. That's right.
And and that's the reason he brought him there, was to give him this child to take away to go be safe, right?
Yes.
And so it wasn't even like, you're really helping me. You're just helping a kid, but you're not teaming up with me. There wasn't a full. So this is like going to be the full team. Like, now we actually have to fight on the same side of a battle for the first time.
What I want so bad, Daniel, is I want Mark. He doesn't have to destroy Omni-Man.
Yeah.
But I want Omni-Man to know that Mark is stronger.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it'll ever happen. I don't know. I haven't not read the comics. I've been staying away from spoilers. But I want there to be a moment where the son finally beats the father. You know, that's the son's it's the son's job in a lot of ways, and it's the father's job in a lot of ways to test him. I don't mean you have to go kill your father or beat him to a pulp, but I am saying that it is your job to prove sometimes to your father that you can replace them when they're gone.
Yeah, no,
Well,
and I think this is just my narrative instincts predicting. I have a feeling the final season arc, the final confrontation, whatever it is, it's Omni-Man coming back to Earth. That will be kind of like we've had Mark and Omni-Man meet. Now we're about to have Mark and Omni-Man team up against a bigger bad, and I think the final one will be Omni-Man coming back to Earth. I'm like, there's so many different contexts that could take. Is he coming back to like finish the plan? Is he like gonna just I'm gonna restart the Viltrumites? I just think it's right. I'll try to change everything. And Mark has to oppose
I don't know
him.
what you know. Do you know about the comic books at all?
Nothing.
Okay, then we can talk freely. Okay, so I don't either.
So I'm just thinking
fear
of
for
the
a second
progression.
Was that you were teeing me up to think that the Viltrumite thing is not the end game. And maybe it's not. Maybe it is
what
Mark
I'm saying
versus
is like,
Omni-Man.
what I have a feeling is we're getting this more nuanced version of Nolan, Omni-Man. My guess is, because I think this show will always end on like this kind of like morally gray, like it's, you know, they really try to make things complicated with choices and stuff, that it will be like a changed Omni-Man that like is good now, that wants to like, but still wants to enact the Viltrumite plan, but out of altruistic motivations, right? Like he thinks it's right. Like the humans need us. They're out of control. They kill each other, right? Like Viltrumite is order, and so I have a feeling it could be this like, I'm coming to save the Earth, and Mark has to stop him.
I hope that's it.
That just feels like what it's all building to, you know, like that. Just,
yeah, we kind of talked, I think back in season 1 or season 2, where it was going to be, or our theory was that Omni-Man would go through his journey, Mark would go through his journey, and it would kind of culminate in this big fight with the Viltrumites, and then Omni-Man would sacrifice himself.
Yeah, no,
but we're in season 4, and I believe you and I did the math way back when. And there's still enough material for 6 more seasons.
I mean, I see some I'll see comments on like I'm not a part of the Invincible subreddit because I don't want to get spoiled, but like on the television when they like post about it, and some people say, like, I've read the comments and they're barely scratching the surface. Sometimes, like even now, they're like, there's still so much shit they haven't gotten to, and so I'm like, how many fucking seasons? This could be 12 seasons. I don't know.
Yeah, well, yeah. I think we did the math. I think we landed between 9 and 11 or something was the math.
Yeah.
Because you can look about where they're at in the comic at the time, and then how many comics, you can do the math there, and maybe it's not the Viltrumites. Maybe the Viltrumites are not the final big bad. I don't really know. I just
maybe
assumed
that arc of the Mark of Nolan coming to save Earth as the Viltrumites altruistically. Maybe that happens before. Maybe the final big bad is some kind of Galactus level threat or something, right? Who knows?
Yeah, I just never honestly considered it, you know.
I just think it makes sense because it's gonna have to like force Mark to decide what he believes about human behavior and freedom and what is our responsibility, and it's just to me it forces him into such an interesting moral dilemma of, I actually kind of agree with my dad's reasoning, but I don't agree with how he's doing it, and now I have to stop him.
How do you feel about, I mean,
we'll see.
We're season 4. What if it takes 6 or 7 more seasons to get to, and let's say the Viltrumite thing is the end game. If it takes 6 or 7 more seasons to get to that end game, how does that make you feel?
It just depends on what they give me in between, I guess. You know what I mean? Like, if you're giving me good stories and you're developing characters and you're giving me, like, again, see, episode 4 gave us a brand new kind of world that we haven't been to before. With one character we've seen before, but the rest we've never have. And it definitely was one of those, like, it's dealt with in a way where it's coming back, like the threat, and it will be this. And you were introduced to new lore about the Earth, and like all. It was really cool stuff. And so like, yeah, I think to me, yeah, it there is a potential for this show to drag too long, and I think it will be hard because it's popular, because everyone loves it, because everyone wants more of it. You know, the creators might have to have some hard conversations in the executive room about why they need to get to the stuff. But again, if they just keep giving me good shit, and like again, like to me, the violent cartoon battles are like really fun. Like that just tickles a part of my brain that is doesn't get tickled by other things. Like there's something about watching cartoons I grew up with be brutally killed and destroyed and gore. There's just something that like is fun about that. I don't know what it is exactly. What part of my caveman brain is enjoying that, but
yeah,
it's like,
I have more on that later. I'm excited to dive into that later. But yeah, okay. Well, a couple things real quick. I agree. If it's good, it's good. Who cares, right? That's the ultimate. Winning fixes everything typically.
Yeah.
And so the other thing I was going to say was, Robert Kirkman and them, they were basically using the profits from Walking Dead comic to basically funnel the production of Invincible because they cared about it so much.
Yeah.
And the sales were so weak. And it didn't become like a bigger thing, obviously, till the show came out. And it was always critically acclaimed, I believe. But it was always we're using this baby to...
Well, when you look at Invincible from the outside in, it just looks like another typical superhero thing. On paper,
it's just playing with all the ideas of...
Yeah.
I mean, you can see, like, okay, that's a guy, that's Superman, that's Spider-Man, that's whatever.
I mean, there's been multiple Batman analogous characters, I think, already in the show.
But my point was, they were always on thin ice. You know what I'm saying? While they were writing the comic book.
Sure.
And so they always said that they knew the ending they were trying to get to. And it was kind of like, we're doing this thing here of taking money from one, put it into another to survive just so we can get to this particular ending. And so it was never like they had runway. It was always they
always
more.
Knew where they were going.
And they needed to get there, and they stopped as soon as they got there. And so maybe that
gives me confidence.
Gives you comfort.
Yeah. That gives me, to me, that's most of the best well-told stories, I think, are function that way or developed that way. But yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, again, it's just like, I can't wait to watch more tonight. I mean, like, we got 2 more episodes, and
I think I will too, actually. I think I'll watch some tonight. Since we have time, I think we both kind of agree it's good.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I think most of this podcast talking about this will be, in the future episodes, will be us kind of just diving more into like the story, the narrative, and not really critiquing the show. So when we will, but you know what I mean? It's not like Daredevil where it's like there's obvious flaws. And
right.
It's like we're nitpicking and then we're enjoying what they're giving us and we're exploring. I kind of want to ask you real quick, because I know you've seen it now, the trailer for Spider-Man Brand New Day, because we haven't talked about it. No. What do you think about it?
I'm unconvinced, to be honest. I think it felt like a Spider-Man trailer with nothing extraordinary going on. I was just like, this seems like an episode of the week as a movie, if that makes sense. Like, it just kind of feels like, it feels like we're making this because Tom Holland is a moneymaker actor, this character is a moneymaker actor, and we just need to make more films because we have a contract for so many movies or whatever. Like, it doesn't feel like this was made because we've got this really great Spider-Man story and we really want to tell it, and so I think it just feels very committee. Like, it just feels like I don't know what direction this movie wants to go in. I'm
fascinating.
I'm very unconvinced. Nothing about that just was like, oh, we've never seen that before. Like, I can't wait to see how that resolves. To me, it was all like, I think I know how everything's gonna end up, kind of thing.
Interesting. Well, obviously we don't know the villain 100%.
No.
There's been rumors, that could change a lot of things. Obviously Scorpion's in the trailer. I don't think he's the big bad. I think he's Muscle.
Yeah.
At the end of the day,
he's not interesting enough probably to hold it. At least they'd have to really write him well. But
no, I agree. That actor's a great actor.
Fantastic actor. Perfect casting.
Yeah. Perfect casting. Yeah, I think, there's
a
lot of great visuals in there. Daniel Destin Cretton, he is very talented filmmaker. Obviously, we had the announcement for Wonder Man Season 2. We both really liked Wonder Man. That was our, I think, episode last week or last time. And I trust him because I really enjoy Shang-Chi, and I think he has a good eye and those sort of things. I'm excited because it feels like this is the first time we're getting Tom Holland Spider-Man. You know what I'm saying? Versus Tom Holland, Spider-Boy, being mentored by some character. I understand Bruce Banner's in there, but to me the Hulk and Bruce Banner is way more synonymous with Spider-Man than Iron Man and Doctor Strange ever was.
Yeah.
And so I like that. I love it. Feels like I'm watching an episode of the animated series from the 90s. And so I'm excited about that. And they're doing some cool things that I have a personal connection to from a comic book called The Other. It was kind of like my first, when I remember I had money. I don't know how I had money. I guess my parents gave me money. But I had money, and I was buying comics monthly for the first time in my life when I was like 15 or 16. And I was like, it was like my responsibility to keep up with it and to have a pull list and like all these kind of things and buying multiple issues to get, the full story. And that was a story called The Other. And they're pulling from that definitely. And so that's really fascinating to me, and I'm curious as to where that goes. So I'm excited because I like the filmmaking better here than I did with the previous movies with John Watts, and I do like those movies. But I'm obviously partial to Sam Raimi and getting that kind of vibe, and this is closer to me than those other things. So I'm excited for it. I'm not like, when I watched it, I didn't get like, oh my God, chills or whatever. It did feel like a teaser, and we're just kind of, it is, I don't know if you saw this, it's the most viewed trailer of all time collectively with over 1 billion views. And second,
kind of wild to me.
It is to me too. And the second most viewed trailer of all time was, I believe, 2.5 years ago. In second place, and at the time, it broke the record for most views ever for a trailer, and that was Deadpool and Wolverine at 437 million views, something like that, under 500 million, and that's how big this trailer was. It doubled the previous record holder. That's big. And so,
I mean, that's kind of
a big movie.
Wild to me. I guess I don't know. I mean, I get, Zendaya and Tom Holland are stars. They're like one of the, like, everyone loves them as a Hollywood couple because they seem like they're real people and they're not obsessed with being a celebrity, and they have a real relationship, and like they just seem like pretty authentic people in a world where that's hard to find. And so, like, I guess, I mean, maybe this is just a little bit of Marvel fatigue. Maybe this is like, I don't know exactly what it is. Maybe they'll release another. Maybe I just need a teaser with more narrative meat in it. And part of it was too. I think I was a little surprised that we're doing the whole. I honestly expected MJ to come back in like the next movie. Maybe like I kind of felt I'm a little surprised that like we're going through the like. Do I reveal myself to them already kind of stuff?
If I could have one change, it would be that. I don't like that we're already going back to that well.
And I feel like that's an executive decision. We have to have Zendaya in this movie. We can't make a Spider-Man movie without Zendaya being in the movie in 30 scenes or whatever. Whatever. That just feels like a marketing, like, we will make more money if Zendaya's in this. And it is a strong, a big part of it, So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
I agree. So before we go, we'd like to highlight one last thing that may or may not be movie or TV related. And Daniel, I want to go first. Normally I ask you to go first, but I want to go first.
Go for it.
Cool. Okay, so mine is Dispatch. You know what I'm talking about?
I do. I've not played it, but I'm aware of it.
Well, because of Invincible, and because I was like, I need to, because Matt showed me this trailer a few months back or whatever. Yeah. And I was like, I'm going to go look. And I found it on PlayStation. And let me tell you, man, if you like Invincible, you are going to love this game. It's got Aaron Paul as the lead. It's got Jeffrey Wright as a supporting character who's prominently in it. He's in every episode prominently. 8 episodes. Some of them feel like 30, 40-minute episodes. 1 or 2, maybe like closer to an hour. Yeah. But I truly felt like the decisions I were making were changing the things, not maybe radically, but I was like, oh, I have to go back and play this again so I can pick these different relationships, these different characters on my team, and see how it all plays out. And even just the character, he plays Mecha Man. Even that character, I'm like, oh, I want to play a different version of that guy, you know? And so I'm telling you, I haven't laughed so much consistently from a piece of media than I have from that in a long time. Not even Invincible has made me laugh like this. The dialogue is so witty. It's so funny. And there was things like I was telling Kimley, like, yeah, and then they asked me this question, and then I chose this answer because it's exactly what I would say in real life, and it's super fun. Like, it was just, here's what I want to say to people in real life, but I can't get away with it. And I was just, I mean, the fight scenes, if you said earlier that you love hardcore rated R fight scenes.
Cartoon fight scenes, yes.
Oh, dude, it looks like Invincible. And I'm telling you, it is like playing a movie, and even the mechanics, I wasn't down for it at first. I just wanted to zone out and just make choices.
Yeah.
But even the mechanic of like you're actually dispatching characters.
Yeah.
And like you're basically, you're running a supervillain team.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not sure. This real quick for our listeners. It's a character, this guy named Mecha Man. He's essentially like an Iron Man kind of like character, and he's got this mantle passed down from him, and his suit goes out of commission. And so he ends up working for this superhero dispatch headquarters, and he is running the Z team, which is basically supposedly redeemed supervillains. And so he has to work with them to send them out and to take care of calls. And you're doing that, and they're talking while you're doing it. You're making choices. You're upgrading their abilities, and you're sending them to certain things. And there's like rest periods for them. They can't do another crime, without having to rest. And there's like intellect, and you have to like make sure you pick the right characters for the right jobs. And sometimes there's problems going off, and they're all resting, and it was much. I was engaged. Like as soon as I got to the first one, I was like, whoa, I really like this mechanic a lot. And by the end of it, dude, there's moments in that show that I want to talk to you about. I say game that I want to talk to you about right now that are so good on a character level. Oh, I finished, dude. I
How long did it take?
I mean, total about probably 6 to 8 hours, maybe 5 to 8 hours.
Yeah.
But I did it like literally in a day and a half. It was so good. I was like, I got to keep playing this. And the end of it, I was like, holy shit. This is my kind of ending. I cannot praise it enough. It's one of the, and you may go in there and be like, the dialogue is not as good as I'm saying or whatever, but I was just tickled by it. And the cinema, I was just blown away by the writing and the directing for a video game. The directing of the how they reveal information and the shots. I was like, oh, these right here, this is, I've been hearing this a lot, been listening to script this a lot, and I was like, these are people who are filmmakers who didn't get a TV show and a movie, and they somehow, games are looked at less than in that kind of writing, directing space, and they got that job, and they're showing here, right here, here's what I was trying to do, I just didn't get the opportunity, and I was like, these guys know how to direct. Yeah. And the actors, telling you, the acting, it's Aaron Paul, Jeffrey Wright.
Yeah.
And when it's all said and done, dude, I was like, I'm foaming at the mouth for a season 2 or a dispatch 2, whatever it looks like. And I can't wait to go back and play this again and pick different choices. And I finished it, and I immediately went to my Xbox because it was your birthday a couple of weeks ago, and I was going to send you it as a gift, and it's not on Xbox.
Oh, really?
It's only on PlayStation and PC, and Nintendo Switch 2 if you have that.
My son does.
Okay, well maybe you can play it on the TV.
Yeah,
because you're just you don't need that will handle the graphics easily.
Yeah.
It's that, and also you're not, you're just picking like choices.
Yeah,
essentially. So maybe you should play if you have time, dude.
Yeah, you
should play on the Switch like tonight because it will be it has to be. You're gonna have to love it. If you don't like it, this may be our last episode, honestly, or the next one will be, and then we'll be like, well, 270's our last.
We'll never talk again.
We'll never talk again. Yeah. Obviously, you don't have to like it, but I'm convinced that you will, but I could be wrong.
No, I mean, it's been on my list for a while. I think it just, I have to be in the right kind of mind space for that kind of game. I like those kind of games. Like it reminds me a little bit of Marvel Black Suns. What was that game where it was like a card-based battler, and then you had to manage the superheroes like on the side, like make sure they're happy, and you do little quests for them or whatever. I like those kind of games. I like those kind of management simulation type games. So I know I'm going to like it. Like I know it's like a guaranteed. Like I'm going to enjoy this. Getting into my one more thing. My problem is that I have a game I've been playing. It just got on Game Pass that is like one of my new favorites, which is Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. I'm sure you've
Kingdom
seen
Come Deliverance 2.
Have you seen? Were you aware of the first game at all? Kingdom Come Deliverance. Okay.
I've heard the name. I couldn't even tell what it looks like.
It is essentially a medieval simulator. It is a medieval RPG with no magic, no dragons. It is based on history. It is based on the history of this region. It's like Albert. No, not Albert. It's like in the German area, somewhere around there. The regions were different back then, but like I'm in Kuttenberg. Like that's one of the cities I'm in, and I think that's Germany. I think Kuttenberg's Germany. It reminds me of Red Dead Redemption 2 in that it is very committed to realism in a way that is so fun. And I would say too, like the first game I tried and I bounced off it because the fighting is really not very fun. It's really clunky. It makes you do things in a way that like it doesn't waste your time, but it's so realistic that you're like, okay, this is anyway. Sorry, I got a text that distracted me.
It's okay.
So anyway, this game, man, like for instance, let's say you steal something from a house. In most RPGs, if you steal something and no one sees you, it didn't happen. In this game, if you steal something and they saw you in the area, they just realize it was missing. They'll think it's you, and they'll tell the guards about you. If you steal something and then wear it immediately, they'll just immediately recognize they're wearing their stolen stuff.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing?
Like we're seeing you do that.
Exactly. And so like there's levels of that are just like really fun. You know, you're building your character, and you can be good at swords, you can be good at diplomacy, you can be good at bows and arrows, you like alchemy is this whole like process where you have to open a book and read the instructions, and then like it's very tactile. It's very like when you're doing smithing, you're smithing. You know, you got to heat the blade up, and then you got to pound it every little place, and you got to flip it over and do it again and heat it up again. Like it really it's really immersive in that way. And then what I didn't expect was to be so kind of enamored with the story. So essentially, you're Henry. You're this blacksmith, and it'll probably make me go play the first one after I finish with this one. But you're a blacksmith's son, and your family and village was brutally massacred by the Turks that were coming in to invade. And through the events of the first game, you end up basically being like the bodyguard of this kind of younger noble guy, and it is so like the energy he brings is amazing. His name is Hans. I'm trying to remind me who he reminds me of. Anyway, like he's got this just like he's flamboyant and he's a noble and he's overly cocky and he's getting you guys into situations he's running his mouth and getting into like bar fights with you and stuff to protect honor, and you're like it's like a bro comedy at times and a bromance thing of like you're with this friend that basically has elevated you to a place you never would have gotten for. Like you're like pretty respectable now that you're part of this. You're like this noble's guy, like that's a higher point of class, but he's over you, and so there's this kind of dynamic of like I'm your better, but most of the time I don't treat you like it, but I'm always getting us into situations that you have to get us out of, kind of thing. There's just this really nice chemistry between them, and I just didn't expect to like this Hans character so much, and what it feels like I'm playing Knights of the Seven Kingdoms, 100%. My character, like Henry, you really feel kind of like now I'm blanking on the guy's name.
I can't think of his name either. Yeah.
Dunk. Like you're just
Dunk.
you're
Dunk
in this world. Everything's based on civility and honor and being a knight and like these class systems of duchies and nobles and serfs but there's no fantastical elements. It's just good stories set in historical time that's fun because it's the medieval times. Yeah. And so I'm just like I'm like probably 20 hours in, and I probably have another 100 to go.
Oh my
Like
gosh.
it's that big of a game. It's that big of a game. And it's one of those games that's really fun where, like, if you go do all the side quests, the next big mission, it's going to acknowledge that and play into that all the time. Like, it's going to have the character.
Okay.
Like, instead of going up and meeting new characters, oh, hey, you helped me out with this thing. Good to see you again. Or like, hey, you helped me with this thing, so I'm going to do this for you now. So it just has these really nice systems of, like, the game is constantly reacting to you. The game gives you so much freedom. You can be any kind of Henry. You can be a thief. You can be a womanizer. You could be, the greatest swordsman ever. The sword fighting is much better in this. Like, I feel like really fun playing. Now I'm like a god level sword fighter. I crafted my own my own sword because I leveled up my blacksmithing, so I can make swords better than you can buy them now. And so like I'm just like in the beginning you feel like such a leaf. Like, anything kills you. Wolves, you're dead. Bandits, you're dead. More than one bandit, you're absolutely dead. Like, you run. It's one of those kind of games where, like, if you have no armor and you come across 3 guys, you have zero chance. They have armor and weapons and you don't. You're dead.
Right.
Doesn't matter. It's a video game. Right? And so it's one of those that it teaches you that early, and once you kind of understand those rules and you respect them, and then now I'm like a god. Now I have like plate armor and chainmail and like a bassinet head with the thing that flips down. And like people hit me and it's like it bounces off me almost. And I'm just like wrecking people. I've got like Master Sword Strikes that is basically like, it's like an Arkham counter button where if you time it right, it's basically like, oh, you're dead. Because I can just counter your move in a certain way. Man, dude, it's just, I got into it because I'd finished Mass Effect and I was just needing another big meaty game to sink my time into on my off time, and I was skeptical, but it was on the Game Pass and I was like, oh, at least give it a try. I know everyone loved it, blah blah blah. I didn't like the first one, so I'm not expecting much, but man, it's been a blast, and I feel like I'm still just like scratching the surface of like the systems that are at play, and like, well, I wonder what I do if I do this. I wonder how that will happen, and all this kinds of things. So, wow, really, 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 like, one of the better first-person RPGs I think I've played ever. And just, and again, like, I used to be the guy that was like, why would I play a fantasy game if it doesn't have, like, why would I want a medieval game without magic? You know what I mean? But it almost, it's this thing of, like, because the stakes are so low, it's so ordinary things now become incredibly exciting. You know what I mean? Where it's like, in a Skyrim, bandits, that's whatever. You're waiting for these like giant, like a dragon drop out of the sky and fight you. Like, that's the highs. Those are the peaks. So the in between stuff feels really mundane, like doing smithing or like doing these other things. In this game, it's like the high is you got ambushed and you fought your way out and you barely have any health left, so you bandage yourself so you're not bleeding, and now you've got to make it back to that town and hope no one else sees you. Like, it's just these like really kind of normal medieval situations that you have to think through as if you were there. And so it's just so immersive in that way. You really feel like I'm living in the Middle Ages. I get to like, you can like flirt with women and like try to like win their affection. You can just, get a bathhouse made when you take a bath. You know what I mean? Like there's just like, do what you want, man. Like, there's a dice mini game, so you can like play dice and get better dice. So it just has everything you'd want out of a like multiple systems RPG that all work really well together. And then again, man, like the acting is incredible. The voice actors they get for these characters are insane and good, and like those real gravelly, like nice voice actor voices. And yeah, I'm continually impressed by it. Like, I'm like playing it, I'm like, holy shit, this is amazing, and it keeps impressing me more. So, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, man, it's probably not your kind of game at all, which is a shame because I think you would absolutely love the like Hans Henry bromance. We're going through this country trying, like, we get ambushed in the middle of the game and now we're on our own and we have to figure out how to, like, we look like beggars but we're noblemen and no one believes us. How do we get out of this?
Yeah,
like,
I have to make some serious
you would love
choices if the game starts going over 10 hours.
Yeah, I know.
And that's it for me, because when I put myself into something, I'm in it, and I don't want to devote 120 hours. That would take me literally like half a year of my life. Yeah, probably.
No, I get it.
Say that.
I get it.
I say that, and then I put 50-something hours into the blueprints because
You did. That's
you
true.
know, but
That's
but
wild.
but it consumed me for that time.
Yeah.
For those 50, for that month or whatever. I
Yeah.
was like, when I'm not eating or sleeping or working, I'm playing Blueprints. So
Yes.
that's the danger for me though. So
No, I get it.
I need to get in and get out. You know,
I get it.
Yeah. Well, how can our listeners write into us?
They can write in by leaving a comment on our YouTube channel or our Spotify. You know, you can leave comments on Spotify now. Did you know that? You can leave comments on the episode on
know
Spotify.
that.
They're wild. So
I
you
did
can
know that.
You can leave us a comment there, ask us a question, let us know what you thought of the first 3 episodes of Invincible season 4. We didn't get a chance to talk Daredevil this week, so maybe we'll dig into that next time. After there's a few more episodes to dig into. Not too much happened in episode 1, so just not too much to talk about. But we'll get in there. We'll dig into it.
There's not much to talk about.
If that tells you our thoughts, it should. If that gives an indication, yeah.
Yeah, and everyone's saying it's better than last season, and I'm like,
the last season had a great first episode.
it'll at least kick things off in a meaningful way.
Yes, yeah, no, I agree. This was a lot of. I remember getting done. I was like, that fight scene at the end was cool, but I felt like most of that episode was 2-person conversations.
I love to talk about it, and I don't have the time.
Okay, I'm sorry.
to talk about it.
But let us know what you thought of Invincible season 4. We'll promise we'll come back and talk about Daredevil. But if you want to leave us a thought, go ahead. We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, and well, it's exciting. Glad we talked about it. We'll be back next week again. Invincible, Daredevil, and whatever else we could think of. My name is Donovan Thompson.
I'm Daniel Wingfield,
and we'll see you at your next session.
Real Therapy is brought to you by 241 Studios and viewers like you. Thanks for stopping by. Remember to tune in every Friday at 3 p.m. for a new session with Daniel and Donovan. And remember,
they're gonna talk about how it makes them feel. They're gonna watch all the movie reels, 'cause it's Dan and